President Trump just threatened to use military force to take control of Greenland. And America's closest allies are furious. Some say this is about protecting national security in an increasingly dangerous Arctic. Others, they're calling it the biggest betrayal of NATO in history. Today, Sophia and Liam are going head-to-head on the question dividing the Western world. Is Trump's Greenland push brilliant strategy? Or reckless imperialism? Buckle up. This one's explosive. Here's what you need to know. Greenland is a semi-autonomous territory of Denmark with 57,000 people. Trump wants America to take control by purchase negotiation, or as he hinted, by force. He's threatened 10 to 25% tariffs on 8 European countries including Denmark, Norway, and the UK until they agree. His reasoning? National security. Greenland sits between Russia and North America, has rare earth minerals worth over $1 trillion, and already hosts a U.S. military base. But here's the problem. Greenland doesn't want to be American. Denmark says it's not for sale. And NATO allies are calling this a violation of everything the alliance stands for. So, who's right?
Let's be very clear about what's happening here. This isn't diplomacy, this is extortion. Trump is threatening our oldest allies, countries that have fought beside us for 75 years, with economic warfare unless they hand over territory that doesn't belong to us. This is textbook imperialism. And let's talk about what this does to American credibility. For decades, we've told the world, respect sovereignty, follow international law, democracy matters. Now we're saying, give us your land or we'll destroy your economy. How is that different from what Putin did in Crimea? How is that different from what China's doing in the South China Sea? The Greenlanders have made their position crystal clear, they don't want this. 57,000 people are protesting in the streets saying, we are not for sale. In what universe does America, the supposed champion of democracy and self-determination, ignore the will of an entire population? And here's what really gets me, Trump linked this to not winning the Nobel Peace Prize. He literally said because Norway didn't give him an award, he no longer feels obligated to think purely of peace. That's not strategy. That's ego-driven madness that's destroying 75 years of alliances.
Sophia, you're so focused on feelings and optics that you're missing the actual existential threat here. Let me tell you what's really happening in the Arctic while you're worried about hurt feelings in Copenhagen. Russia has built 40 new military bases in the Arctic. 40. China just declared itself a near-Arctic nation, despite being 1,000 miles away, and is investing billions in Arctic shipping routes and resources. These aren't our friends. These are adversaries positioning themselves to dominate the most strategic territory on Earth. Greenland sits right in the middle of the gap between Russian missile systems and North American cities. It's not optional for American security, it's essential. We already have Thule Air Base there, which tracks ballistic missiles. If Russia or China gain influence in Greenland, our entire northern defense becomes obsolete. And you want to talk about international law? Where's the international law when Russia annexes territory? When China builds military islands? The world doesn't run on your idealistic rules anymore, it runs on power. Denmark can't defend Greenland. They have what, a couple hundred soldiers there? A few sled dogs? Trump called it right, if we don't secure it, our enemies will. As for the Greenlanders, they're being manipulated by European politicians who want to keep exploiting their resources while offering nothing in return.
So your solution to Russia breaking international law is for America to break international law? That's insane. We become the thing we're fighting against.
No, Sophia, we survive. This isn't a philosophy debate. It's about whether America still exists in 50 years.
By destroying NATO? The alliance that's kept the peace for 75 years? You're willing to throw that away because Trump's feelings are hurt about a prize.
NATO members have been freeloading off American military protection for decades. Maybe it's time they actually contribute or step aside.
They are contributing. 8 NATO countries just deployed troops to Greenland to defend it. They're showing more commitment to the alliance than Trump is. He's literally threatening to invade a NATO territory.
Defend it from who, Sophia? From US? That tells you everything about where European priorities really are. They'd rather side with Denmark than acknowledge American security needs.
You want to talk about priorities? Let's talk about what Trump is actually destroying here. He just gave Vladimir Putin the greatest gift imaginable. For years, Putin has been trying to break NATO, trying to prove that the West is hypocritical, that we don't actually believe in our own values. And now Trump hands it to him on a silver platter. Every dictator on earth is watching this. Xi Jinping is watching and thinking, if Trump can threaten allies for territory, why can't I take Taiwan? Putin's thinking, if America doesn't respect borders, why should I in Ukraine? We're not just losing Greenland credibility, we're losing all credibility. And let's be honest about the real reason Trump wants this. It's not just security. Greenland has rare earth minerals worth over $1 trillion. This is about resources. This is about Trump's business interests and his obsession with making deals. He sees Greenland like a property on Monopoly board. The man literally said he might use military force against a NATO ally. Do you understand how insane that is? Article 5 says an attack on one NATO member is an attack on all. Are we really going to be the country that forces Denmark to invoke Article 5 against the United States?
You know what's insane? Pretending the world works the way you want it to instead of the way it actually does. Let me give you some reality. First, about those rare earth minerals, you're right, they're worth trillions. You know who controls 70% of rare earth processing right now? China. Those minerals aren't just about money, they're in every phone, every electric vehicle, every advanced weapon system. If China corners the market and we don't have access to Greenland's resources, we don't just lose economically, we lose militarily. Second, you keep throwing around NATO ally, like it's some sacred thing. Denmark spends barely 2% of GDP on defense, the bare minimum. For decades, American taxpayers have subsidized European defense while they built their welfare states. And now when we ask for something that actually matters to our security, they refuse? That's not an alliance. That's a protection racket where we pay and get nothing. Third, let's talk about the Nobel Peace Prize comment. Was it petty? Sure. But Trump's making a point. These European countries lecture us about morality while doing nothing about real threats. Norway awards peace prizes while depending on American military might. It's hypocrisy and Trump's calling it out. And you're worried about what dictators will think? They already know weakness when they see it. Biden's weakness in Afghanistan, the West's pathetic response to Ukraine until it was too late, that's what emboldened our enemies. Trump projecting strength, even uncomfortable strength, is what keeps them in check.
This isn't strength, it's bullying. And there's a difference. Strength would be working with our allies to develop Arctic strategy together. Strength would be investing in Greenland's economy and building genuine partnership with Greenlanders. Strength would be leading the democratic world, not threatening it. What Trump's doing is weak. It's the behavior of someone who can't persuade, can't negotiate, can't lead, so he resorts to threats. And it's backfiring spectacularly. The EU is about to impose counter tariffs. The UK is standing with Denmark. Even Greenlanders who might have been open to closer US ties now hate us. You want Arctic security? Great. Build coalitions. Strengthen NATO. Invest in Arctic defense with our allies. Don't tear apart the most successful military alliance in human history because of one man's ego and his obsession with making the biggest deal.
And while you're building your little coalition and having your meetings, Russia and China are building bases. Sometimes you can't wait for consensus, SOPHIA. Sometimes leaders have to make hard decisions. That's what separates countries that survive from countries that disappear into history books.
So there you have it. National security imperative or alliance-destroying betrayal. Strategic brilliance or imperial overreach. The answer might depend on whether you value American power or international partnerships more. One thing's certain, this crisis is reshaping the entire world order. Trump meets with European leaders at Davos this week. Tensions are at an all-time high, and whatever happens next will define America's role in the world for generations. What do you think? Is Trump protecting America or destroying NATO? Drop your take in the comments below. And if you want more no BS analysis of the issues tearing America apart, hit that subscribe button. Next video. AI regulation, innovation killer or necessary protection? You won't want to miss it. See you then.